James decided to keep renting. Smith decided to buy a home. They made completely different choices, yet neither of them was actually wrong. So, who made the better decision? If you're trying to decide whether you should rent or buy a home, this video won't give you a one-size-fits-all answer. Instead, I'll walk you through 4 key questions that can help you evaluate your own situation and make the decision that's right for you. If you enjoy personal finance content backed by data, logical analysis, and real-world examples, consider subscribing so you don't miss future videos. Many people believe that buying a home is always the best financial decision. They assume home prices will always rise over time, that renting is simply throwing money away, and that every mortgage payment builds wealth because you're paying for an asset you own. While these beliefs aren't entirely wrong, they don't apply to everyone. The truth is, the decision to rent or buy shouldn't be based on common sayings or someone else's advice. It should be based on your personal circumstances, your financial situation, and your long-term goals. Before you decide whether to buy a home or keep renting, let's walk through 4 important questions. They might completely change the way you think about the rent versus buy decision. Question 1. Can you really afford this home? This question is far more important than whether a bank is willing to approve your mortgage. James is a 30-year-old software engineer living in Birmingham City, Alabama, earning approximately $95,000 a year. He's single and currently rents an apartment for about $1,650 per month. Based on his income, qualifying for a mortgage wouldn't be difficult. He's considering buying a single-family home priced at around $260,000. With a 10% down payment, his mortgage would be roughly $234,000. However, James isn't concerned about qualifying for the loan. What concerns him is the true cost of homeownership. Once he factors in property taxes, homeowner's insurance, private mortgage insurance, PMI, and ongoing maintenance, his total monthly housing cost rises to approximately $2,100 to $2,200, nearly $500 more per month than what he's currently paying in rent. For James, the real question isn't, will the bank approve my mortgage? Instead, it's, after buying this home, will I still have enough cash flow to invest, continue growing my career, and maintain long-term financial stability? Now, let's look at Smith. Smith is a senior IT manager, married, with a household income of approximately $155,000 per year. Before considering homeownership, he spent years building a solid financial foundation. He has $80,000 saved for a down payment and an emergency fund of around $45,000. His family plans to purchase a home worth approximately $420,000. After including the mortgage payment, property taxes, homeowner's insurance, and other ownership costs, his estimated monthly housing expense comes to around $2,900 to $3,100. Although Smith's monthly housing cost is higher than James's, it represents less than 28% of his household's gross monthly income, keeping him comfortably within the 28-36 rule that many financial experts recommend. As a result, buying a home doesn't put significant pressure on his monthly budget. He can still maintain his emergency savings while comfortably handling unexpected expenses. Smith's situation illustrates an important point. Being able to afford a home isn't just about getting approved for a mortgage. It's about having a strong enough financial foundation to own that home without sacrificing your long-term financial stability. Question 2. Does buying fit your life? For James, the decision isn't just about whether he can afford a home. It's about whether buying one fits the life he wants to build over the next several years. At 30 years old, he's focused on advancing his career and is willing to relocate to cities like Austin or Seattle if the right opportunity comes along. His goal is to increase his income from $95,000 to somewhere between $130,000 and $150,000 per year. For James, flexibility is more valuable than home ownership right now. If he buys a house today but needs to relocate in just 2 or 3 years, he'll likely face significant costs, including real estate agent commissions, closing costs when selling the home, and moving expenses. Those costs could eat into any appreciation the property has gained, and may even make buying a home a poor financial decision. By continuing to rent, James keeps his options open. He can pursue better career opportunities without being tied to a property that may be expensive to sell after only a few years. Now let's look at Smith. Smith is at a very different stage of life. He's married, and he and his wife are planning to start a family within the next few years. Rather than chasing career opportunities in different cities, his priority is building a stable life for at least the next 10 years. He also wants his future children to attend a highly rated school district and to give his family enough time to build lasting relationships within their community. For Smith, a home isn't just a financial asset, it's the foundation for the life he wants to create. Because his long-term goals and expected length of stay are already clear, buying a home makes far more sense than continuing to rent. This highlights an important lesson. The decision to rent or buy isn't determined by money alone. It should also reflect where you are in life and the future you're trying to build. Question 3. How long will you stay? This is one of the most important factors in the rent versus buy decision, yet it's also one of the most overlooked. For James, one of the biggest questions isn't, can I afford to buy a home? It's, how long am I actually going to live here? Right now, he expects to stay in Birmingham City, Alabama for only another 2 to 3 years before pursuing better career opportunities in another city. If he buys a single-family home for around $260,000, he'll be responsible not only for the monthly mortgage payment, but also for several transaction costs. These include closing costs when purchasing the home, a real estate agent's commission of roughly 5 to 6% when selling, closing costs at the time of sale, and moving expenses. Altogether, those costs could easily total $20,000 to $25,000. If home prices increase only modestly or remain flat during those few years, the appreciation may not be enough to offset those expenses. As a result, buying a home for such a short period may not make financial sense, even if James has no trouble qualifying for a mortgage. Now consider Smith. Smith plans to stay in for at least 10 to 15 years. With a much longer time horizon, the upfront costs of buying a home, such as closing costs and real estate commissions, are spread over many years, making their impact much smaller. During that time, each mortgage payment helps him build home equity, while also giving him a better chance to benefit from long-term appreciation in the housing market. More importantly, his family won't feel pressured to sell the home after just a few years because of a job change or relocation. Smith's situation demonstrates why the length of time you plan to stay in a home can be one of the most important factors in deciding whether buying makes financial sense. Sometimes the deciding factor isn't the home price or the mortgage rate. It's simply how long you expect to live there. Question 4. Can you handle the financial risk? This question isn't just about money. It also reflects your personality and the way you choose to build wealth. For James, continuing to rent means saving roughly $500 per month compared to the cost of owning a $260,000 home. Instead of putting that extra money toward a mortgage, he consistently invests it in low-cost index funds, such as an S&P 500 index fund. Historically, the U.S. stock market has delivered an average annual return of around 8 to 10% over the long term. However, this strategy isn't easy. It only works if James has the discipline to invest consistently for many years, avoid withdrawing money during market downturns, and resist making emotional investment decisions. If he spends the money he saves by renting, or chases short-term investment trends instead of sticking to a long-term plan, the financial advantage of renting can quickly disappear. In other words, renting can be a smart financial decision, but only if the money you save is invested consistently and with discipline. Now, let's look at Smith. Smith takes a very different approach. He has little interest in monitoring the stock market or dealing with the ups and downs of an investment portfolio. Instead, he values stability and prefers a wealth-building strategy that's less dependent on market volatility. Rather than investing the monthly savings in stocks, Smith uses his income to make his mortgage payment each month. With every payment, he gradually builds home equity, while also benefiting from the potential long-term appreciation of his home if the housing market performs well. For Smith, a home is more than just a place to live. It's a long-term asset that provides financial stability for his family. Ultimately, there's no single right answer. If you have the knowledge, discipline, and risk tolerance to invest consistently, renting and investing the difference can be a highly effective strategy. But if you value stability and prefer to build wealth through a less volatile path, homeownership may be the better choice for you. So, who made the right decision? The answer is both James and Smith. They each made the right choice because their decisions were based on their own circumstances and life goals. The real question isn't, should you rent or buy a home? It's whether you've honestly answered the 4 key questions we discussed in this video. Don't make one of the biggest financial decisions of your life based on common sayings like renting is throwing money away or everyone should own a home. A smart financial decision isn't just about building wealth. It's about choosing the path that aligns with your life, your goals, and the future you want to create.